Hello and welcome or welcome back. My name is Carrie, and today I'm going to take a bit of a deep dive into the Garden of Enchanted Creatures. I received my deck earlier this week and have been really going into the guidebook. I know a lot of people don't like being dependent on a guidebook. I strongly recommend for this one, it's worth it. There was another deck that I really wanted to get to know, and animal energy, and like really dove into the guidebook as well, and that was the Bohemian Animal Tarot. It's similar to that, like to get the symbolism from the deck. I don't think I'm going to go to it all the time, except it does give me an interpretation and questions that I really dig. I love when the guidebook gives you some questions to contemplate, as well as the symbology throughout the cards. I think this is a deck that is very different than MJ's other works. I don't have a lot of her decks, but I have Guardian of the Night, both the indie, which I bought about a year ago, less than a year ago, about that time, the end of last year, the beginning of this year. I got this off of eBay. I had the mass market first. I didn't like the borders. I got this, and then I trimmed this borderless, and now I really like both of them. So depending on what cards I'm working, like if I'm working with several decks at a time, I might pick one or the other depending on like the size of the cards I want. But so I really like these decks. I don't use them a ton, but when I want animal energy, these are great. The thing about Guardian of the Night is you get one or two animals introduced to you like on each card. So you have 78 plus animals that you're getting the energy from. When here, there might be a card that has 6 different animals on it, but once you're really introduced to this is what an owl, this is what a rabbit, this is what a fox like energy means, then you're reintroduced to them over and over again. Like you're really not going to be dependent on the guidebook. But to start out, it seems kind of overwhelming because it's so much more of a story in each card versus, I think this is a few paragraphs of a story, but each card here could be like a chapter of a story. That's how I kind of see the difference. We get one or two main characters that we're close up in on. There's not a ton of distraction in the background compared to a lot of these cards. And I think it can be overwhelming if you aren't sure where she's going with it. I could be wrong, but I feel like this deck is a commentary on the times that we're living in. Like she created it in this current environment where the world is chaotic and there are people trying to literally take us back to the Middle Ages, depending on who you are, right? Some people get privilege and some people don't, and pitting us against each other versus like the 200 people that are really in power and shareholders and make money off of us fighting each other. So I think this is a deck of our times, and it doesn't just show you the hard parts, but it talks to how we can get out of it. So I'm kind of like enamored by the enchanted creatures. I think we are the enchanted creatures. Like we should be living in this magic garden, but our frontal lobes have like taken over and changed things and made it harder. Yeah, I think it's a deck of our times, and I'm really digging it. It is different than what she has done before. I think this is my favorite deck of hers. I have the Guardian of the Night, 2 copies. I have the Crow Tarot, and I have Urban Crow Oracle. And this is my favorite deck of hers so far. Like, it's really cool, I think. I could be reading it all wrong, but it doesn't matter because that's how it works for me. This is what I need right now, is a guide through our bleeped up times that we're currently living in. So, all right, let's take a look at what we got. The box, very nice box. The biggest box, so big.
Really?
It has this thing on the inside, which I don't care for, but it does come out easily, which I prefer. So this box may become something, but it's not going to hold the cards for me. Although sitting on your shelf sideways, beautiful this way, beautiful this way. So that's nice. I didn't know about this deck until earlier this year. So I know some people like backed the deck a long time ago on a crowdfunding thing. Yeah, I was pretty new to knowing this deck existed. I went to her website and I was like, oh my gosh, pre-order a deck? That's cool. And, knowing how much I really like this cardstock versus the mass market version of this, I know nothing. I really know I know nothing, but I know I like this cardstock, and yeah, I really do. I like the cardstock, and so I backed it. Cardstock wise, it is very similar to the Indie Guardian of the Night. It's tiny. It's a couple cards taller stack wise, but same size. I would have said this actually felt a little thicker than this, but it's taller, the new one. Okay, so I also got, in addition to the guidebook, which I can't recommend enough to get into. Now, if you really know animal energy, if you have your own idea of all these animals and flowers and it makes sense to you without going into the guidebook, don't go into the guidebook. But if you're looking at it going, oh my gosh, what is happening here? And you need a little guidance, the guidebook is there for you. I think even if you understand all the symbology without it being spelled out for you in the guidebook is great. You get the interpretation with a couple of questions, and that alone kind of sums up all the symbology if you don't want to dig deep into it. Okay, so in addition to the cards and the guidebook, I was sent this burlap bag. I've been like crushing it up because it was really stiff. It's loosening up. I know that I am not going to store my deck in the box, but this book fits in the bag with the deck, even when I put the deck in one of my bags. And I had this deck bag made already. It's not like a perfect fit. I would pick something different if I was going shopping for material, but I really don't feel like making a bag when I have a bag that color-wise goes pretty well with the backs, and I think it fits it so perfectly. This is its bag. I used to be much more particular about my bags, but I don't really feel like making them. All right, so I'm going to keep the guidebook next to me, and we're going to take a look at the cards. Let me get a little closer. All right. So, of course, we start with the Fool. The Fool here is the robin, just soaring into the picture. Looks pretty jolly. The pink flowers and the white moths are all about like joy and transformation. We have daffodils, which are one of the first flowers of spring, right? So we have like hope and renewal in both the bird and the flowers. We have the crows that are cawing. Are they telling him to watch out? Like there's danger ahead? Or are they like, you got it, dude? And then, of course, we have the vulture here in case it doesn't work out so much. From the robin, we're there to clean things up. So I think we're off to a great start with this Fool. Next, we have the Magician, of course. The Magician still has hope and optimism, but knows that the hope and optimism comes from forward momentum and actually doing the things and taking action in hand. So we have all four elements here. We've got water, air, earth, and fire. And we have magic happening, right? This is a mouse with rabbit ears and crow feathers, wings, right? So we're doing the magic and creating something new. And here we have the frog jumping out of the cauldron, transformed, heading off into the enchanted garden, right? We should all be the Portland frog we wish to see in the world. Whenever I see a dandelion, for me, that is, if you can dream it, you can do it. Like, that's the phrase that comes to mind. I hiked with someone named Dandelion who was like, I don't care that I'm older and my body hurts. I'm going out here and doing this thing. And I was the same way. And also, despite giant corporations being something that I don't love, in my 20s, I worked at Disney and it was magical. It really was. So, like, that's my mantra for this card. I absolutely love it. If you can dream it, you can do it, but you have to actually do it. The High Priestess here. So we have the symbolism of mystery and magic sitting atop something that symbolizes both cleverness and intelligence, but also maybe trickery, deception. So what we're visioning, is it what we want to see, or is it really based in reality? We have this cat that moves based on instinct versus intuition. We have the swallows that are like, are we connecting to the divine? We have lights of moments of clarity, right? Like, and really taking time to realize what is our foundation based in, truth or not truth, alternate truth. I like how the cat is looking into this drop, and I'm pretty sure. So we have the robin from the Fool, and the robin is here in the Magician, and the robin is here in the High Priestess. We're not going to see the robin in all the cards, but we see the robin throughout the story. And let's see, we've got the snake, which is a sign of transformation and knowledge, right? And we're moving up the tree. We're off to me to an amazing start. And I think it's like these two together are creating this enchantment. So before this, we don't have animals like in human clothing, but after it, we do. Okay, now we have the Empress, and she is the protectress, right? We are nourishing, we are enlightened and awakened and getting messages from beyond. We are also this panther, right? We are all the things we see in the card at the same time, depending on what we need. Are we the mama bear or panther that needs to protect? Is this our shadow self here? It gives us so many options. So I'm just digging this deck. All right, we start to really get crazy with the Emperor, I think. This Emperor, right? This could be a really wise owl emperor who isn't going to stand for trickery and foolishness, but it also could be a kind of corrupt emperor who doesn't like cleverness, right? Doesn't like, university folks. They're just the vultures who they're like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just here to help clean up. We have the snake with the axe. So maybe we need to cut things out, right, for the betterment, but maybe we're not. Maybe we're just really a prickly person. Are we being closed off, or are we open? Is this an illusion of look at my sacred heart that I'm giving to all of you? Dance for me, dance for me. This is what I'm getting out of it after I have read what's in the book. So what I am saying to you, some of it is what MJ said is described here, and others are just this is to me, like, we can be joyful and dance when we have a good leader, right? We can celebrate together, or we're dancing for the leader who is corrupt because we have to, or feel that we have to. Like, I think this deck goes pretty deep. Okay. The Hierophant. I was in with the Hierophant. I saw the Hierophant and I'm in. So the Hierophant, as a Taurus sun, the Hierophant card is really important to me. And I love stained glass. So this card for this deck and this card for this deck were both like kind of pivotal to me going, okay, I think that deck might be for me. So I feel like we've got stained glass in the classic, RWS, but with crows version of the Hierophant. We have Ratatouille here in front of the bakery, but it also is like stained glass windows behind him. And then in this Hierophant, I feel like we have stained glass, but it's also a musical. It comes alive for me. Again, this is things that are somewhat in the book, but different. So in the book, she has, are you just followers, right? Or are you kind of like going out on your own and evolving? But that's not how I see it. Like, if this is a good leader, right? If this is a good leader that is such a good teacher that, you're allowed to evolve and still be a believer of whatever. This is like, ooh, ooh, witchy woman, see how high she climbs. Like, that's what I hear when I see this card. This to me says alignment. Can you imagine if these were like stained glass windows in a church? It would be so awesome. So the swallows flying overhead are letting us know, like, are we reading the signs as we should? I see as red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. I see this chakra rainbow alignment and this seeking higher knowledge. I think this is an amazing and very wise Hierophant. And I knew when I saw this, I was like in on the deck, and the Queen of Pentacles as well. Like, totally. I'm here for it. For the lovers, we have a ton of symbolism here. So we're going to see an anatomical heart in lots of places. It starts with the Emperor, but we're going to see it again and again. And it is about emotion and where does that lie and how does that affect you? Are you in control of it? Is it in control of you? Here we have two cranes that are locking eyes, but they're not equal, right? Like, this one is bound and this one is free to speak. We have the papaya that is halved, and it's about fertility, but also vulnerability, like showing your core, your inside to the other. We have the duality in multiple ways. We've got the owl, the wisdom and the innocence. Is that balanced? We have the light and the shadow with the moon and the sun. And then honestly, that could be enough for me. Like, that card could have been done for me, but it's not, because sometime you think you're in a loving relationship, but somebody is a weasel and they're just there to take advantage, right? So there's that as well. We have abundance, like deep meaning in the lovers. Well done. The Chariot. This is a lot going on right here. Like, this is the Chariot. So it's the precision of the falcon and the cleverness of the fox, like joined and working together. You know, are you being clear about what you're seeing and your wisdom? And she has a different meaning for the zebra in the deck, in the guidebook. Creature of duality. Wild yet grounded, the zebra embodies balance amid contrast. Are your opposing instincts working in tandem or pulling you apart? That's a fine meaning. But I look at the zebra alone, and zebras camouflage work when they're all together in the crowd. And like, is this zebra being an individual in a good way? Or is it like, do you need the help of your friends right now? We have this beetle charging in with this wealth of stuff, like through this fire. We have a hummingbird who's like quick and now, and poppies. And we're going to see poppies a lot. We're going to see hummingbirds a lot. We're going to see praying mantis a lot. Two very different energies inhabit these flowers. The praying mantis represents patience, stillness, and the power of waiting. The hummingbird is joy, speed, and constant movement. Together, they illustrate the need to know when to act and when to pause. The Chariot calls for purpose-driven action. So this is the interpretation piece. So if you didn't want to read all the symbolism, you could go there and kind of get a summary. So let's see what we get. The Chariot calls for purpose-driven action. It's not just about momentum, but mastery. Knowing how to navigate competing energies and staying aligned with your goal. This card is a reminder that success is rarely linear. It requires a dynamic balance between control and surrender, effort and trust. Are you in control, or are you being pulled by outside forces? Are you charging ahead recklessly or balancing movement with intention? Are you focused or distracted by fleeting emotions? The Chariot is focused motion with purpose. It is the force that turns chaos into progress through determination, balance, and inner command. You're not just moving, you're leading your own journey forward. Okay, so one of my favorite strength cards. I really love it. It is true that the more simple cards, like the closer up on the characters and the fewer characters, the more I do like the card for the most part. But I think these are really important, again, to help us through some of the hard bits that we're currently facing. I love, a swan can be like super protective, I ran into some geese once. I was really afraid. I was really afraid, swinging my Jordache purse, because my dad and my friend had already left the park. And I was like, oh, I left my purse. And I ran back for it and was like swarmed by these geese. Swans, very similar, very protective, but also here very gentle to the alligator. And I love that we get this lemniscate snake. Like there's constant transformation, there's constant change, even if we don't want it, it's there. Love that string. The hermit, we've got milk thistle and the beetle, like signs of healing and transformation. Again, we have the praying mantis, and this hermit is like going into the log. Just really love it. There's a lot more, again, to the symbolism, but we will be here forever if we stop and look at all of them. A lot of MJ's Wheel of Fortunes are very similar in that we have animals in circles. This is my favorite one. I like this and how it makes me think, the more I practice, the luckier I get, which is something my husband says. And it's so true. The more I practice, the luckier I get. So we have luck involved in our fate, but also what steps are we taking? Should we be slowing things down, or should we be going faster? Should we be really clever right now, or kind of just going with the flow kind of thing? So I really love the animals that are on this one and the meanings. Justice. Justice is blind, but should it be? We have somebody trying to pull off the blindfold, but they're getting stabbed in the back. There's a lot going on here. How is our emotion tied to our logic? Which is it a balanced choice we're making? Are we using our intellect? And yeah, there's just chaos in the world. It just is. The Hanged Man is this cat had big dreams, but reality has come and stopped you in your tracks, right? And that can be really hard. And sometimes we want things to go quickly. This rabbit wants to go so fast, but is riding a snail, and things are not going to move quickly. They're just not. The cat is in this stuck place, but through our tears, through our hardships, what can we learn? What kind of awakening can happen in that time? So chaotic, but good. And the sun always rises. All right, the death. I think I want to read something from death. Okay, so in the death, we're going to throw this fox into the pit, even though he's holding up like a feather, but a white flag. And here we've got like graves. So 2 crowned fox skeletons with rising shadows, excuse me. These rulers of the past are now nothing but bones, but their shadows rise from the pit, suggesting that our past selves never fully disappear. Instead, they echo forward. What you've outgrown may still shape you unless you release it fully. I love that piece of it. Temperance, beautiful. This one is about balance and harmony. So they're all singing in harmony, right? The night noises that are so soothing and easy to fall asleep to when you're camping or have the windows open is here. Maybe the bugling elk or deer may not be so soothing, but the katydids and the crickets and the frogs, like it's so calming. The devil. So MJ says this might be one of her favorite devils, and like I see it. So we've got our fool coming back in, and we have this pig dressed up as a nun having rabbits sign contracts and then putting on collars and like selling their soul to this weasel that is literally defecating souls, does not give a crap about you. Doesn't give a crap about you. This is all stuff that can be fixed, but we have to see the light and see that there is a way out. Okay? Like, really well done. The tower. The cicadas are coming out. Let's see. Okay, the cicadas. Dormant for years, now burst forth from below. They represent what has been buried, truths, emotions, or patterns that must surface during disruption. The tower shakes them loose. You cannot remain asleep forever. The star. I love this card. I see this. I'm not going to go into depth on it, but I see this differently than how it is described in the book. I see this as our current times and us rising above those who would take our freedom from us. And the way we rise above it is these small actions of delight. I absolutely love this card. The moon. This reminds me, this fox is afraid of these shadowy figures, but the shadow figures are not real. They are imagined. It's really these little mice here. And the first time I ever backpacked, I had a breakup, and it was pretty. I took it pretty hard. I'm in my 40s, and just thought, am I ever gonna find somebody? And I thought, I need to be brave. I say how I want to hike the Appalachian Trail someday, but I've never actually backpacked by myself. So I bought some gear, I borrowed some gear, and my dog and I went out. I went to a place I knew really well where I've day hiked a bunch. It was on the Appalachian Trail in Grayson Highlands in Virginia, and there are wild ponies here. So it is a place that we hiked to a lot on day hikes because wild ponies. Every single time we've gone there, we've been with wild ponies. My dog loved hiking. She loved hiking. No one had ever taken her backpacking, hiking all the time, not backpacking. So I set the tent up, and she's like, this is interesting. And then we spend the night in the tent. And I didn't know what I was doing. I parked it there was some rock protection. There was some rock formation to protect us from a little bit of the wind, but it was really on top of this, like a high plateau. It's called the Grayson Highlands, and we were on the highland. So I settle in tall grass. I put the tent up. The wind is blowing. It's like the tent is falling over on us, and I'm constantly like having to lift an arm and push it up. My dog is shaking. She is like, what the F are we doing out here? And then we hear this noise outside of the tent, and it's just, and we're both afraid, right? But I have to be the adult because I am. And I finally peek outside, and of course, it is a giant wild pony because we parked it in the grass, and there's wild ponies everywhere. So it should have been obvious that it was a wild pony, but because we were in this new thing and it was really the unknown and kind of scary, our brains made up a story about what that could be. It was just a wild pony eating some grass. But this is so perfect, right? Like a touch back to reality. Come on back down. Like really tune into spirit. This is, is the danger you are feeling illusion, or is it real? Yeah, I love that card. Love this sun. I love the spiral of things, of authenticity. Again, we get the dandelions, dream it, do it. I love how we get this. The description in the card of this little dude is different than mine. This little dude is like ego. Like he just wants to burn down the house, right? Like not a well-balanced ego at all. Like unlike this one who's reaching for the light. But you can see it how you want. I like this raccoon in the Judgment. Let's get there. Okay. So a pretty standard Judgment, Awakening, Transformation, spiritual release type of card. And what we have here with the raccoon, I think, is really important. So unlike its usual mischievous role, the raccoon serves as an undertaker, symbolizing the conscious burial of what must now be left behind. This could be an outdated identity, a past regret, or a fear no longer serving your growth. Right? Like it seems like, okay, was that really necessary on the card? But that statement is, I like it. And now I know when I look at it. So under the interpretation part, the questions are you listening to the inner call for change or ignoring it out of fear? What past belief are you still carrying? What needs to be forgiven or released so you can move forward? And then we have the world. I think it's beautiful. Everybody coming together and working together in alignment. I think it's gorgeous. Okay. Now we're going to go into the wands. The wands, I think, are... What do I still have here? Oh, the wands are... the wands are a little chaotic. Did I talk about the backs? I think they're beautiful. Love them. Anyway, the wands are a little chaotic, and we get less chaotic, I think, after that. That's what it feels like to me anyway. Let's get our wands. So the Ace of Wands, we've got a raccoon arm reaching up, right, to do something. We've got this playful and creative imagination here at work, right? Someone said make a plane, and they made two different planes because they have their own ideas of how to do things. Don't be afraid, like, and keep yourself from doing the things that you want to do and isolating yourself. We have so much meaning here. The lemons are going to come into play throughout the deck a little bit as being like sweetness that has a sharpness to it. And then we have the fox climbing the ladder as ambition without action is just a dream. I'm reading from the book. The fox climbing the ladder reminds us that creativity and passion require effort. It's one thing to imagine the future, it's another to climb towards it, right? Like, so good. Okay, let's read the interpretation for the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is the raw, unshaped fire at the beginning of any journey. It doesn't promise success or even a clear map. It offers something much wilder, the surge of energy that says start anyway. Then we have a few questions, and then this is your permission to begin, even if you don't know where it will end. Some doors only reveal themselves once you are already in motion. Trust the spark. Trust your reach toward the unknown sky. And then we have a mouse flying away. We're going to see the mouse in a cup card in a little bit. And I think this one is a pretty clear, typical, like, Two of Wands. And this crow here is letting you know, or raven, that, you know, you're not always doing things alone. And sometimes it requires a little bit of help. I love this 3. The Three of Wands invites you to trust in the momentum you've created. You've stepped beyond the first safe walls and now stand where vision meets action. The road ahead may twist and climb, but the foundations are already in place. The Three of Wands reminds you, exploration rewards the steady heart. Look outward, trust your preparations, and be ready to meet opportunity when it arrives. The Four of Wands, we have celebration. You know, it's about recognizing and celebrating the milestones. A Five of Wands, I like here that we have, so these are like outside forces that may be causing internal fighting, right? And the raccoon is gently being like, is this really what you want to be doing? Right? I love it. The Six of Wands, we've got a badger who has a daffodil stalk with a clatter ring and a rat here. And there's rats on the bales of hay over here. And we're like, yay, you're so amazing. But is he amazing? Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he is amazing. Maybe he's amazing and also missing that people are trying to, other creatures are trying to take advantage. Or maybe he's hiding the fact, like he thinks he's showing you, oh, look how amazing I am. But really, he's letting the rats into the hen house kind of thing. So I love all the multiple meanings on these cards. The ring here on the frog's foot is about what you hold dear and what you're willing to defend, right? That might be boundaries that are important to you, but it also could be you're defending old ideals that like really aren't serving you any longer. So taking a look at that. Rabbit hopping in the background symbolizes quiet endurance. There's so much going on. Again, I recommend the book. Go in the book. Blossoming lotus flowers and a swan in the pond. The swan gliding across the pond suggests inner calm amid external chaos. Moths are drawn to light even through darkness, echoing the theme of staying true to your inner guidance despite distractions or adversity. This card reminds you when the way opens, don't waste time doubting. Trust your direction, leap with purpose, and let the wind carry you forward. This is an injured fox, and he's got his guard up, maybe for good reason or maybe not, right? We've got the rabbit in the background again, talking about like endurance. The praying mantis perched on a flower, pointing at the fox's brain, focus, strategy, and the call to stay mentally sharp. The thorny vine and a bubble containing a vulture at the fox's feet. The vulture hints at external forces waiting for weakness. Lots of symbolism. Again, once you realize where she's going with the card, you can take it wherever you want to. A pretty classic 10 of Wands. Poor little guy. Progress is sometimes slow. Are people taking advantage of you and like pretending to help but not really helping? Do you need to be carrying that tree away? And what does that leave behind? Okay, this Page of Wands, I thought initially was like pretending to be a bird to hurt the bird, but that isn't what's happening. It's a creative way to help this injured bird. There's fire happening, but we want to help with creative solutions and working together. Again, lots of symbolism, but I really think it's cute. The Knight of Wands, like the Knight of Wands is someone who would go to a bonfire, right? And have a good time. Pretty showy, but also willing to do dangerous things. And the vultures might be just sitting there waiting for you to do the wrong dangerous thing. So be cautious. I love this queen. I love this queen is like creating and molding the fire. Her protection allows joy and safety to be amongst the land. I love this giant crown. I love this card. The King of Wands, right? He's got a little one with him, and he's a good leader who also is protecting and helping people transform, with the snake climbing up and the butterfly here. Really, really dig these. Okay, and we're back with the cups. I had to recharge the battery and stop for a little bit. Partway through the cups, we just stopped recording. Okay, so Ace of Cups. Under the interpretation in the book, the Ace of Cups calls you to open not casually but deeply. This is not a surface level affection or fleeting happiness. It is a sacred offering of your heart, your truth, your willingness to feel fully. It may feel vulnerable, even overwhelming, but it is also healing, clarifying, and holy. We have the fish and the lotus, like bringing spiritual awakening, and the raven lifting off with the frog from the cauldron, and the magician jumping out after, it was magic in action. Hope and emotional rescue. The frog, a liminal creature of change, suggests rebirth and guidance. Together they represent emotional support emerging from transition. Love that. We have another raven that is being drowned by this fish, by the salmon. The overpowering of logic by feeling. The raven, symbol of intellect and shadow, is submerged. The salmon, wise and relentless, anchors the moment, demanding surrender to emotion and soul rather than thought. Like, there's a lot going on in these cards, and I think it's cool. Okay, the Two of Cups I think is beautiful. I love the intertwined snakes around the cup. We've got imbalance in the health of these two flowers. And the two of Cups invites you to open to connection with intention and grace. Whether this is about another person or a part of yourself, the energy is one of mirrored vulnerability. True connection isn't perfect. It's sacred because it's chosen, nurtured, and real. Three of Cups is about community, and we have the mouse from the Two of Wands flying in to remind us that, like, people that have been in our life, and the beautiful moments when they come back again. I just love it. In the Four of Cups, we have a meditating monkey. We have a monkey who is looking for knowledge, seeking it. We have somebody who's just chewing on his tail, and we have someone who is enthralled with his own image here. And we also have a throwback to the Four of Cups in Guardian of the Night, which is this pangolin. The skin draped over the branch is a nod to that card in the Guardian of the Night, a symbol of protection long shed. It hangs in the tree as a quiet memory of what has been released. The Four of Cups invites you to pause, but asks you to stay awake with this stillness. There may be something just beyond your current focus that deserves attention, care, and gratitude. The Five of Cups. We have had such great loss, and it feels like you're just trapped here and that you live here tied to this grief. But there's people in our lives who may need us, and there's also a way through. Because Long Island. I agree with Krista Chronicles. I grew up on Long Island. This is very Six of Cups for me without this cruise ship. Seven of Cups, head in the cloud. Are there things we're missing that we should be looking for that are really here? The Eight of Cups, we've got a couple things going on. So the fox needs to move on because there's nothing left here for him. And the vulture is a reminder, just because something once nourished you doesn't mean it still does. Love that. But I'm watching this mouse on the turtle. The mouse on the turtle is like, could be very much in trouble no matter which shore it ends up on. So I hope it continues to go with the flow until it finds a better way out. Eight of Cups. This card marks not just a departure, but the hope and anticipation that forms within, fueling your journey when you are ready to move on. Love this Nine of Cups. I love it. I love it. I love, oh my gosh, I love the abundance, the berries, the transformation. But we're also like maybe holding too tight to some things. And of course, the dandelions. So if you can dream it, you can do it. But the foot in the water on the cup. So one foot resting in a stream from an overflowing cup. This speaks to effortless abundance, but also a caution not to become numb to what once felt miraculous. I love that. We've got our 10 of Cups, and like joy expands when shared, and the bear like has made connection and now knows what that feels like, and it's about no longer holding yourself apart from joy. So love that. Really beautiful. This is probably one of my favorite Page of Cups of all time. So whimsical. We get our frog back. The Page of Cups invites you to dream, to play, and to listen to your inner waters without judgment. What rises from your emotional depths might feel strange, whimsical, or even tender, but it has value. The Page of Cups serves as a reminder that you don't need to explain your feelings, only explore them. Let wonder and vulnerability guide you. The world opens when you open to it. I just love it. It's so whimsical. The Knight of Cups. Okay, so our Knight of Cups, the hopeless romantic. The Knight of Cups arrives with an emotional proposition, an invitation to feel more deeply, to love more openly, to speak or act from the heart. This could show up as a person, an idea, or a moment when you're swept up in the poetry of life. Poetry of life. But there's a warning here too. Be mindful of illusion, projection, and unreciprocated emotion. Not every heartfelt gesture lands. This queen is from a story I didn't know about. So the symbolism is inspired by Yoruba story of Yemaya. Yemaya, the ocean mother of Yoruba mythology, governs over the moon, tides, fertility, and emotional healing. Her tears are sacred. Her waters restorative. This card draws from her mythology to express the depth and transformative power of the queen's emotions. Like Yamaya, she carries grief, wisdom, and the ability to heal with gentle persistence. Really beautiful. Again, there's so much more to interpret in the cards, but I do want to give you just little snippets of MJ's ideas here. And the King of Cups, beautiful, love it. How did we get over here? Love it so much. I love that in the wands, the queen had a giant crown, and then here we have the giant cup. I just really like it. Bejeweled shell cup, secure in the sand, suggests self-worth and wisdom earned over time. And then we have the seagull flying off with a heart, a tentacle arm of an octopus grabbing the vein. Struggle over vulnerability. The heart being pulled in two directions implies tension around emotional availability and the conflict over what to hold on to and what to release. The octopus represents the unseen grasp of memory, attachment, or need. The King of Cups asks you to stay rooted in your emotional truth without becoming swept away by it. You can be the still point in the storm, the one who listens, holds understanding, without having to fix, rescue, or surrender to chaos. This is a moment to lead with heart, but also with boundaries. All right, that's our cups. Just favorite. These are my two favorites from this grouping. Okay, so hanging from the Ace of Swords, we have a rabbit and a fox. So dual instincts, cleverness and caution meet in a moment of revelation. Both sides in the self are trying to reach the same truth. The sword is planted in a field of daffodils, new beginnings rooted in clarity, and I think it is a beautiful ace. The Two of Swords. So the rhino is like a protective force, heavy and immovable. The rhinoceros anchors the heart, symbolizing emotional suppression or a guarded state, where feelings are being tightly held under control, right? And the rabbit has a choice to make. And the whole, it's about the Two of Swords ask you to trust your inner compass and to understand that even difficult decisions are better than staying stuck. So, move forward, just cut something. Oh, this Three of Swords. This Three of Swords. So first, we have this open papaya, which is a callback to the Lovers card. So we've exposed ourselves, we've been vulnerable, and the person who pretends to protect us is actually stabbing us in the back. So it is a Three of Swords, and we got an ostrich over here hiding its head, right? Burying its head in the sand, just avoiding anything. Nothing's happening here. This card speaks to the moment when illusions shatter and the heart is cracked wide open, not to destroy you, but to awaken you. Heartbreak may be the wound, but clarity is the medicine. I really like this Four of Swords. So this white raven is showing you this cave where this mouse is resting. There's a little moment of enlightenment. Of course, we have a beetle climbing, and here the praying mantis has one poppy, one. It's just a small dose of medicine for sleep, dreams, and healing. And you may feel tired, not just body, but in soul. This card offers permission to pull inward, to allow yourself a sacred pause. Recovery is not weakness, it is part of the cycle. All right, this is a tough one. This Five of Swords, like a typical Five of Swords, can be about conflict and cruelty and dominance and pettiness. So what are you fighting over? The locusts are destruction born of greed or imbalance. And we have two sets of rabbits fighting amongst themselves, division as fallout, often in conflict. Those who aren't even part of the original power struggle end up hurt or turned against each other. These rabbits fight, unaware that they may be pawns in a larger pattern of manipulation or scarcity. And so the baboon is holding the knife, right, and ripping apart this lemon tree. So the aggression disguised as cleverness. The knife in the mouth signals sharp words or dangerous ideas delivered under the guise of wit. The lemon tree, once a symbol of growth and potential, is being destroyed, suggesting emotional sabotage or intentional harm to something once nurturing. Like, really good. I really like this 6 of Swords. We have 6 birds with lanterns as we make this transition. But look what we have left behind. Okay, so the severed tail left behind. The price of escape. The tail is a part of identity, of beauty and balance, but here it is left behind, a powerful symbol of sacrifice, release, and the willingness to give up part of yourself to reclaim your life. This, I met a mountain lion, not really. All I saw was the tail, but it was behind shrubbery, and it could have been nothing else. There's nothing else that looks like a lion's tail, and it was a lion's tail. I was in New York. I was about to cross Palisades Parkway, and I was alone at that moment. And it was just, what do? You just stand there and watch it. It was walking away, thankfully, but then I had to continue climbing down into the gap that I saw it walking across. Wow, amazing. Okay, 7 of Swords, deception, lone wolf strategy, moral compromise. The 7 of Swords asks you to sit with the truth behind your strategy, what you're doing and what you're avoiding. This isn't about shame, it's about discernment. The 8 of Swords reminds you that feeling trapped and being trapped are not the same thing. The binds here are built from fear, habit, and misdirection, not reality. And so the red blindfold on the fox speaks to passion clouding reason or fear overtaking clarity. And the rabbit up here, like, is just playful. It's not feeling trapped. And this one really wasn't trapped, but now is like getting trapped from its stillness in the vines. Okay, the Nightmare card. So we have the only human in the deck is inside this wasp's nest. So this is a stark image of being consumed by mental anguish. The person face down with arms outstretched through hexagon holes suggests being stuck in a system of torment, a prison of the mind. It could represent a fear of losing control or being overtaken entirely by suffering. And the bed is like a symbol, like this is supposed to be a place of comfort, but it's literally a wasp's nest, and all these anxiety and fears are just poking at you. I think it's very well done. The 10 of Swords. So we get a bit of tails being cut off here, and this taking a part of somebody's identity away from them, asking them to conform to something. Oh, it's very of the times, I believe. So here we have rabbits dancing around all these cut off tails. 2 rabbits dancing around a maypole adorned with foxtails, a celebration that suggests that the betrayal is not just personal, but also made into a spectacle. These rabbits revel in the suffering, oblivious or indifferent to its costs. So we have a priest here, like giving last rites to someone who's already been taken. This card doesn't ask if something is over. It is. Instead, it asks what stories are being told about the ending and who profits from them. In its own brutal way, this card also points to truth. When everything has been stripped away, what remains is undeniable. Okay. Okay, our Page of Swords here is not poking the fox with malice. He's just wanting to know. He's asking pointed questions. And the fox is looking off, glazed over, not paying attention really to the mouse because he doesn't want to answer the questions. The Page of Swords in this form is not about naive questioning. It is about the courage to hold a mirror up to silence, especially in spaces that have long gone unchallenged. This isn't a battle, but rather an interrogation of what has been hidden, ignored, or locked away. The fox may not answer, the cage may remain sealed, but the mouse is no longer small in spirit. Sometimes the act of asking is an act of power. The Page of Swords marks the beginning of reclaiming your voice and reconnecting with the part of you that still believes in truth, even when it's buried under years of silence or doubt. This card reminds you the spark of inquiry is power, and the courage to question is often the first step towards liberation. All right, this Knight of Swords is really a caution against running in heedlessly, and who are you taking out as you're trying to stop this rabbit that is acting reactively. Our Queen of Swords is a Stellar's jay. The Stellar's jay is a bold, intelligent, and vocal bird, often seen as a symbol of sharp perception, boundary setting, and truth telling. This is not a bird that lives near me. It's in the Pacific Northwest, so I didn't know this bird, reminding us to stay curious, clever, and unafraid to speak hard truths. And then we have the King of Swords. Okay, King of Swords. This card invites you to step into your mental sovereignty. Emotions aren't wrong, but right now they might be obscuring the truth. The King of Swords calls for clarity, boundaries, and action rooted in principle. Whether you're making a hard decision, protecting your energy, or communicating something that needs to be said, the King of Swords affirms your capacity to do so with wisdom and authority. You are not being cold, you are being clear. I love the questions. Where are you being asked to lead with your head, not your heart? What truth have you been avoiding because it's uncomfortable? Are you setting boundaries to protect or to push people away? How might structure and strategy help you grow into your next version of yourself? Great. Okay, last but not least, we have my favorite suit, the Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles, I love a snail, I love a dandelion, I love the rabbit in the background, hopping around, letting us know we must endure, and this fiddlehead unfurling with another seed being planted here, and a treasure trove of things. What is the raccoon doing? Let's see. The raccoon climbing up the fern and raven on top. The ambitious raccoon climbing the fern represents your active, striving nature, the part that eagerly works to reach the prize. In contrast, the raven trying to pull the fern open symbolizes a more forceful, impatient desire to push the process. Together, they illustrate the internal tension between patient effort and the temptation to force an outcome before it's ready. This card asks you to recognize the abundance you already possess and trust that this new beginning is supported and destined for success. I love it. There are little hedgehogs in here. I love it. So cute. The Two of Pentacles asks you to find joy and rhythm in the juggling act itself. Stay light on your feet, manage your priorities with a clever touch, and trust in the continuous, infinite flow of change. I love this one. So they're all working together in community to make something, and they all have different jobs. The Three of Pentacles asks you to step back and consider both the strength of your own role and the power of the collective around you. Whether you're part of a formal team or simply combining different aspects of yourself, this card affirms that your foundation is strong and your vision is taking shape. So the Four of Pentacles is more of a kind of miser than I really like. And he's not paying attention. Like, what's the point of putting up a fence to keep out the deer and then like not keep out the deer? These are like parts of his imagination, and I do love the attitude on his face, but it's not my favorite way to, show the Four of Pentacles. All right, I don't love this Five of Pentacles either. It's asking you to shift your perspective and see like there are more apples, and there's help right here. And we're projecting this idea like, oh my gosh, winter is never going to end, and not seeing that it already is ending and there is hope on the horizon. The Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles represents the balance between giving and receiving, often highlighting the dynamic of power, generosity, and worth. It asks whether you're offering support from a place of true compassion or seeking control, and whether you're willing to receive help without shame or strings attached. Okay, our Seven of Pentacles, as somebody who loves The Office, I love that we're growing beets. And as someone who is a dietitian, I love that we're growing beets. I love beets. They're so delicious. So pretty traditional meaning of patience. The Seven of Pentacles asks that you trust in the patient, strategic work you have already done and give yourself this essential moment to ensure your next steps are aligned with your ultimate goals. The Eight. Okay, so like I said, there's lots of tails that are off, like poor little Eeyore. So that's what's happened here. His tail is not attached, but we're going to sew it back on. The woodpecker is like perfecting its ability to carve these pentacles into the tree. The raccoon threading the needle to sew back on the other raccoon's tail represents the practical and immediate application of a well-honed skill. This shows the purpose of developing a craft is not just for personal satisfaction, but for its utility in the world and its ability to be of service to others. Pretty standard 9. I love it. It's beautiful. Love the 10. You are being invited to contemplate the meaning of true, lasting success. This card speaks to the establishment of a powerful legacy, one built on deep foundations and nurtured by diligent, often unseen efforts. Your focus is shifting from immediate personal gain to long-term security for yourself and for your community. Acknowledge the strength of the structures you have built or are a part of, and honor the roots from which they grew. The Ten of Pentacles ushers in a time of great stability, material comfort, and the profound satisfaction of knowing your efforts are contributing to something permanent and meaningful that will support generations to come. It's so gorgeous, and I love its relation to the Queen in this deck. I love our page and our golden egg, and we've got worms. The Page of Pentacles is an auspicious sign for starting a new project, business, or course of study, promising that your grounded efforts will lay the foundation for future success. A wonderful new opportunity is hatching in your life. It's so cute. The Knight is hilarious. Okay. So we've got the white rabbit pushing the turtle and the fox is going the other way. Here we've got a mouse riding a turtle and holding a carrot out to try to make it go faster because, of course, we have the slowest knight of all the knights. This card reminds you that consistency is a form of devotion, and real growth often comes from the disciplined effort no one sees. Just be sure your loyalty to the process doesn't turn into resistance to evolution. Steadiness should create strength, not stagnation. Beautiful, beautiful. I want a giant picture of this. I don't have wall space, but if I did, I would want a giant picture of it. This is like the ultimate nurturer. This card reminds me, I don't know what movie it is, but there's a movie my mom talked about all the time, and she said she would like this for herself. I still have my mom's ashes. There was a movie, and the mom had said, when I die, plant me. She wants to be a tree or something. So she's planted under a peach tree, and at the end of the movie, the daughter is eating a peach and saying like, Mom, you're good today, And I could be an apple tree. Like that would totally, if some of my cells could become part of an apple tree, that would make me so happy. Or a mulberry tree. Oh, a mulberry tree. How would I love to be a mulberry tree? Yes. feeding so many animals and pissing off so many humans for all the stained sidewalks that I would leave if I could be a mulberry tree. So I adore this card. It is gorgeous, and I love this king. What do we have from the king? You have achieved a significant level of success and mastery in the material world. Like the Rabbit King, you are in a position of power, stability, and abundance, earned through diligent effort and wise leadership. Now it is time to confidently enjoy the fruits of your labor while continuing to plan for the future. Be a generous and accessible leader, sharing your wealth and wisdom. The King of Pentacles serves as a reminder that your task is to manage your prosperous kingdom, keeping all its complex parts in balance. From nurturing new ventures to containing potential risk, trust in your proven ability to make things grow and thrive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is The Garden of Enchanted Creatures by MJ Cullinane. Let's give her a shuffle. I have pretty small hands. And I've had problems with my right hand for a while. This does not hurt at all, though, to shuffle. I love it. I love it, y'all. Let me know what you think of it. I think it's magical. I think it's a little crazy, but the world's a little crazy, so it makes complete sense that it should be. I'm going to try to pair it with a couple things. This video is going to go, whatever. This video is as long as the video is. All right, let's try it with a couple of things. Wisdom of the Wild Things Oracle. Some of these cards are busy. Oh my gosh, I love them. Okay. Oh, there we go. Quiet the Anxiety Monster. Invite your monster to tea, the Nine of Swords. Yes, I think this is a welcome vibe into this enchanted garden. Okay, that is the Wisdom of the Wild Things. Urban Crow. Okay, of course that works. And the spiritual meaning of birds. the Green Witches Oracle deck. This is my favorite pairing so far. Yes, I like them. I'm just going to get you. Clarity, rumination with the Queen of Swords, like she's going to eat it. Okay, so I like that one. I think it's going to work better with quieter oracle decks because it's not a quiet tarot deck. And seeing this deck in a walkthrough paired with this is what convinced me that I could go ahead and get rid of the pocket and just get the large one because I can't see the pocket. Oh, I like them together. We've got this DNA and the snakes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love it. Okay. All right, that is the very beautiful, very of our times Garden of Enchanted Creatures. I am enchanted, and I hope you are too. All right, everyone, have a great one. Happy November.